police officer in Texas is on leave right now after video surfaced showing him pulling his gun and tackling a teenage girl to the ground at a community pool. Watch. That is a clip of a video that goes on for a full 7 minutes. The McKinney Police Department released a statement about this incident saying, quote, the initial call came in as a disturbance involving multiple juveniles at the location who do not live in the area or have permission to be there, refusing to leave. McKinney Police received several additional calls related to this incident, advising the juveniles were now actively fighting. Let's talk about this with Dorsey. She is a former sergeant for the Los Angeles Police Department. I watched the whole video. You watched the whole video. What do you make of this in terms of whether or not that officer was justified in pulling out his gun?
Poppy, he was absolutely out of control. What he did was outrageous. Tactically, it was deplorable. And thank God he didn't have an accidental discharge, because you don't get to pull out your weapon and use it as an intimidating tool. And that's what he was trying to do, was frighten these children into gathering up as he ran frantically, trying to, have them all come to one location. You don't get to do that. And this is a senior officer. This is a training officer. And so with understanding he has 22 years on the department, I'm certain this is not the first time that he's used that tactic.
Earlier in the video, you see another officer calmly talking to these teens, right? And also, to be fair, here some of these teens are not obeying what the officers are telling them to do. But the police department sent 9 additional units to respond to the situation. Is that necessary?
Well, officers always want to have the advantage numerically, and so I'm all for requesting additional units to gain control of the situation. But those other officers that were there also have a duty and an obligation, even though this officer may have been senior to them, to not acquiesce that bad behavior. Somebody in that group should have had the intestinal fortitude to pull him to the side and stop him from doing what he was doing.
One other former police officer that I was speaking with earlier today said, look, this wouldn't have happened if the teens had followed the instructions of the officers when they arrived. And I can't put myself, and you can't put yourself in the shoes of this officer at that point in time. Does he have a point, or you think, no way, no how, you don't pull your gun like this?
Here's what I can tell you, Poppy, is that we understand that people don't always follow our orders and our directions. It's inherent to police work, and that's why you practice and you train. So when you find yourself in a stressful situation, and maybe that's what this officer was, stressed out, you revert to your training. When people don't come, when people don't stop, when people run, you don't get to shoot and kill them. You don't get to pull out your gun. You pull out your gun in the immediate defense of your life or the life of another. And so what he did was outrageous. And I pray and hope that he doesn't become another Tim Loman who's allowed to resign and then go to another police department and continue on in the same manner.
So what should happen? Because I'm interested, maybe as a former officer, are there rules? I mean, did he break any rules by pulling out his gun at that point in time? I mean, isn't that up to an officer's discretion? I just wonder what you think should happen.
Administratively, I'm certain, and I don't know the rules of that department, but I would just have to think from a tactical use of force, tactics that lead up to uses of force, he violated policy. It would seem that there would be no other explanation. You don't get to jump on the back of someone because they're belligerent, because they're unruly, because they're boisterous. You don't get to pull your gun out ever unless you intend to use it. And there was no reason for deadly force in that situation.
All right, Dorsey, appreciate the perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Poppy.
Well, some lawmakers